A man is known by the books he reads, by the company he keeps, by the praise he gives, by his dress, by his tastes, by his distastes, by the stories he tells, by his gait, by the notion of his eye, by the look of his house, of his chamber. For nothing on earth is solitary, but everything hath affinities infinite. Ralph Waldo Emerson. I'm sure the vast majority of my audience would agree with this statement. You can tell a lot just by observing people, but women especially observe men far closer than sometimes men realize. I am a big fan of Shakespeare, and I was reading a passage in Hamlet that I thought would be appropriate for today's video. It's Act 3, Scene 1. Hamlet is having a discussion with his former love, at this point, Ophelia. And he says, "Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent, honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do crawling between heaven and earth? We are errant knaves all. Believe none of us." Hamlet was many things, but one thing he was not was a hypocrite. Now, I'm sure you're all wondering, what does this have to do with anything? Well, this is a picture I took today having lunch. I was down in Flagler Beach. There's a place called the Golden Lion Cafe. It's right across the street from the ocean. It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. But then I thought to myself, should I or should I not share this picture? Because it might tempt a man to stumble. See, there might be men out there who, every time they see a picture of the ocean, they want to go fishing and call into work. And we know that lying to your boss and not working when you're supposed to be, that's not good. That's sinful, actually, lying. In fact, that's in the Ten Commandments. So by posting a picture like this, I could cause somebody to stumble. And then I thought, you know what, man, if I took a picture of what I was eating and drinking, that could cause even more men to stumble. Like on the picture on the left here, I've got a nice tropical drink. It's got a little bit of rum in it. It's got some fresh fruit. But then I thought, if there's men out there that have a problem with alcohol, and they saw this, that could cause them to stumble. It could cause them to stumble. So, we shouldn't drink in public. We shouldn't have anything like this in public that could cause anybody to be tempted, because that's just not biblical, is it? Especially the food. I mean, if there's a person out there who's had a problem with overeating, and I show a picture of some quesadillas and some crab legs, that might cause them to stumble. So apparently, no one should eat food in public either, because if somebody sees it and they've got a problem, it could cause them to stumble. And as a Christian, we don't want to do that, do we? One can be hypocrite before man, but not before God. Everything is uncovered and laid bare before him, nothing hidden. He knows our every thought and intention. You see, not my intention to cause someone to stumble. Not my intention to cause someone to stumble. If you're that weak, not my problem. See, I showed an image like this last few videos, and a lot of narcissistic, mostly Christian men and women didn't have an answer. You see, when I show an image like this, they should say, you shouldn't show pornographic images like that. It could cause a man to stumble. It could cause a man to stumble if he has some kind of a problem. Really? So you know the intent of the heart. None of them had an answer for the question, though. If there were men like this at the beach, and just the image of these men would cause a woman to have impure thoughts, maybe it would cause her to stumble. Would you go over as a Christian man or woman and tell them, cover up, you need to be wearing more clothes? Because somebody seeing you like this could cause someone else to stumble. Are you starting to see it now? Are you starting to see it now? Some of the ladies got a kick out of the term case of the screaming thigh sweats. It was the most G-rated term I could possibly think of to describe what happens to men and women sometimes when they see each other and they've taken care of themselves and they're not gluttons and they're not drunks. You see, this is something people don't really want to hear all the time, but sometimes it matters. You see, the ladies check out guys just as much as the guys check out ladies. And that's why it's important and why I led with this. See, a woman can come over to a man's house and look at his bookshelf and know what books he reads. She can observe who's he hanging out with, the company he keeps, the praise he gives, how does he dress, his tastes, his distastes. She can tell a lot just by looking at your grocery cart at the grocery store, what kind of a man you are. Women have a very keen eye. Don't underestimate them. And believe me, when a guy like this comes running by, they might not be obvious about it, but they're looking. So please, Christian man or woman, please answer my question directly down in the comments. If there were men like this at the beach, men and or woman, would you go over to the man and tell him, put a shirt on? That could cause a lady to stumble. That could cause a lady to have an impure thought. You shouldn't do that. Please, tell me how that would be biblical of you to do. I would love to hear it. Now, for those of you who are interested in no longer being weak-minded little pansies, join us over at Patreon. We can begin the training so that you don't become one of these hypocrites. $1. It'll be the best dollar you've ever spent. Not per video, not per week, not per month. Fully refundable. If you don't think you've taken something from it, if you don't think you've learned something from it, I'll give you your $1 back. It's not a problem. 24 logical fallacies. 24 cognitive biases. You see, in Hamlet, let me see if I can find it here. Hamlet, he admits it. He just lays it out there and basically tells Ophelia, look, we are errant knaves all, believe none of us. The next line is, get thee to a nunnery. Meaning, if you can't forgive me, and you don't expect me to forgive you, what is your point? Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? And he even says, I look in the mirror every day and see fault and see flaw and see how I have fallen and am in need of forgiveness every single day. You don't think so, Ophelia? You think you're perfect. A man is known by the books he reads. I'm not saying don't read the Bible, but I'm saying perhaps open a few other books as well. Because the Bible also says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And I'll leave it there. We would love to have you at Patreon. $1. God bless, like, share, subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.